Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning I take a deep dive into a vintage set. We are going in complete order, so the set we are checking out today is Diamond and Pearl Stormfront, and then we will be checking some more sold listings of some cards and products that are going up in price from sets that are Sun and Moon and older. And we do have to get thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. Punch-Out Gaming is my local game store that I go to, and it's the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been in the mall. They are starting to do a card show almost once a month or every other month, which I will always be vending and recording at. And they have one of the best selections of raw cards that I have ever seen. So definitely check them out. They're only located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities, and all the links are in the description. But all right, let's look at Diamond and Pearl Stormfront. 100 cards plus 6 secret rares. Came out November 1st, 2008. We got some pretty solid holos. Nothing super crazy, to be honest. But they added some new stuff to this set. So we got our level X's. We got Dusknoir level X, Heatran level X, Machamp level X, Raichu level X, and Regigigas level X. But we got a reprint of Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. But they actually, made it different. I mean, check this Charizard out with the super green wings like this. This is one of my favorite Charizard cards, actually. Super cool secret rare. And then, too, we got a few shinies. So these, you can tell, obviously they're shiny Pokemon, but at the bottom it says SH, and then 1, 2, 3. So the next few sets have these. Big fans of these cards. The reverse holos are really nice. They are super tough to grade because the reverse holos scratch so easily, but I'm a big fan of those. So I like that they actually added a few different things to this set, which is why it's my favorite set in the Diamond and Pearl era. So we will check out some prices here. Obviously the Charizard is the most expensive. It says raw $399. And in a 10, last sold $8,999. We got a 9 at $891, another 9 at $1,300. Raw for lightly played, $120, $259, $256, $165, $150, another 9 at $900. We got the 10 at $8,999. That was only about a month or two ago. But yeah, super crazy card. And then even the Charmander and Charmeleon are pretty expensive. In a 10, last sold $1,700. Raw, you can get them, for a decent deal. We got 41 for lightly played, otherwise 59, 26, 69, 25. We got a 9 at $195. And then a 10 at $1,700 says pop 20. Wow. And then the Charmeleon. But yeah, if you look at them, it's kind of just like the base set art, but they kind of gave it a little different flair and stuff. That's why I like it so much. So it says last sold for the Charmeleon, $500 from Z&G Emporium. Huh. And then we got a 9 at 89, 103, 86, 110, and then raw 73, 33, 33, 24, 23, 15, 25. But yeah, those are definitely my favorite cards in the set. And then the shinies probably. We'll check some of these level X's. We got the Raichu. Now it's been slowly going up. Last sold $849 in a 10, and that just happened. And then raw, 27, 25, 36, 35, 49. If you want these level X's super clean, it's definitely going to cost you over $50 raw. And then we got another 10 here at $799. And a 9 at $82. All right, next we got the shiny Drifloon here. Very solid card. In a PSA 10, last sold $1,250. And then raw 30, 39, 25, 22, 50, 29, 73. We got an 8 at 48. A PSA 7 at $1,850. Huh. Not too bad. And then we got the Machamp. Probably my favorite level X in this set. I really like the background. Last sold in a PSA 10 is $580. We got a 9 at 115, 100, 104, and raw 10, 20, 31, 25, 20, 20, 37. All right, we got to check those other shinies. We got the Duskull right here. Very nice shiny. Last sold in a 10, $1,037. We got an 8 at 100, a 5 at 31, a 7 at 50, bunch of low grades, a 9 at 142, and then raw 40, 36, 19, 31, 38, 31. It's definitely going to be closer to $50 to find these cards clean for sure. Next, we got the Regigigas we'll check out, and then we'll do the other shiny. But yeah, I have all these shinies. I just finished it actually not too long ago. But last sold in the PSA 10 for the Regigigas is $1,100. Then we got a 9 at 109, and then raw 42, 29, 25, 29, another 9 at $99. All right, we will check this last shiny, the Voltorb, another very, very solid shiny. Love that color change. In a 10, last sold 382. Then raw 30, 20, 39, 39. We got a PSA 8 at 33, a 9 at 110, 142, 168. And then we will just get the market prices for these other level X's. Dusknoir level X 40, 69. And then we got to check that PSA 10 for that, $1,000. And then there is a very nice Pikachu reverse holo in this set, which we got to check out. Last sold in a PSA 10, $641. And then raw ranges anywhere from like $10 to about $50 if you want it super clean. We got the 9 at 150, another one at 120, and one at 90. And then raw is anywhere from like $10 to $30. All right, we're going to check out some booster packs here. So we got the Diamond and Pearl Stormfront Infinite Pack 175, the Torterra 180, Dusknoir 156. So they're all right around 150. We got the Regigigas here at 152. We got the whole art set here for 700. Got a little Diamond and Pearl blister pack for 400. Couple more packs at 150. Another art set at 700. And ooh, we got a beautiful Diamond and Pearl Stormfront blister pack for $349. So me personally, if I ever buy vintage packs, which I don't buy very often, you know, I have some vintage packs, but that's because I've had them forever. I would buy these nice blister ones. I just think they look so much nicer than loose packs. You can display them so much easier. But yeah, I just like the blister packs a lot more. Looks like we got the Charizard here, thrown in here on auction for $79, 19 bids. We got another blister pack for $350. Here we got the Regigigas at $212. None of these say the actual weight. And we got another blister pack for $350. Regigigas loose pack for $212. Infinite for $200. We got a graded Regigigas PSA 9 pack for $299. All right, next we got the Stormfront booster box. Last sold that they have on Pokedata is $10,914, but we do have a sale here that ended very recently at $8,100. The box isn't perfect, to be honest. You know, that makes a huge difference for these prices for sure. But I've definitely seen much worse. So I would definitely still value the box, you know, over 10 grand. I just thought I'd throw this in here. All right, next we are checking out a bunch of Sun and Moon sets. We got Cosmic Eclipse booster box. This was $862 1 year ago. Now last sold $1,899, $1,799. We got one at $1,496 with a picture, and another one at $1,505. Honestly, decent amount of sales for that expensive of a box. And then we also have some on eBay. Last sold $2,396 for best offer. Looks like a very, very clean box. We got another one here at $2,399. Another one at $1,725, $1,849. We got a complete sealed case for $11,999. This box is going crazy, and I've mentioned this many times that I felt like Cosmic Eclipse was pretty undervalued if you really compare it to Team Up. If you compare the sets, they are very, very close. And Cosmic Eclipse, I think, actually has a little bit deeper of a set when you really compare the two, because it has the first ever trainer gallery cards. All right, next we have the Cosmic Eclipse ETB. This was $382 1 year ago. Now last sold $610, $599, $599, $599. Next we have the Cosmic Eclipse ETB on eBay. Last sold $675, $649, $725, $550, $600. Next we have the Unified Minds booster box, which this is the set that I have most of in the Sun and Moon era. I was buying these booster boxes every single month along with the ETBs. So this was $657 a year ago. I remember the last time I bought a bunch of these, it was $180 and people were calling me crazy. Now last sold $1,450, $1,490, $1,300, $1,497, $1,497. And we will also be checking on eBay. Last sold looks like a pretty beat up one, $1,639. We got a very nice one on auction, $2,251. $1,525, $1,489, $1,746. Then we actually have the Unified Minds ETB, one of my favorite ETBs. I have a ton of these. So this was $288 a year ago. Now last sold $499, $699, $575, $597. And on eBay last sold $600 best offer, $525, $649, $662, $760. Next we have the Unbroken Bonds booster box. Was $619 a year ago. Now last sold 1,750, 1,749, 1,100. And then on eBay, we got one at 1,450, 1,500, 1,500, 1,250, 1,825. Next, we have the Unbroken Bonds ETB. This was $390 a year ago. Now last sold $590, $524, $429, but there's barely any sales on TCG Player. But on eBay, last sold $700, $599, $660, $514, $560. I also think this is one of the best looking ETBs we've ever gotten. All right, next, we're hopping to Pokedata, checking out the Hidden Fates ETB. This was $116 in June of 2021. Now last sold $285, $275, $249, $262, $275. It's good to see that box finally getting some love. Next, we have Sun and Moon Burning Shadows. This was $413 a year ago. Now last sold $659, $650, $599, $599, $699. And on eBay, we got one at $575. Looks definitely beat up. Then we got a nice one at $785. Another one at $540. Can't tell how nice it is. Another one at $600. All right. Next, getting to the big boy. Team Up Booster Box 1 year ago was $2,000. And that's what I'm saying, comparing this to Cosmic Eclipse. And now last sold $5,500, $4,497, $3,999. And on eBay, we got one at $4,700. Another one at $4,700. 5K best offer, $4,500, $4,700. Next, we have the Team Up ETB. This was $532 a year ago. Now last sold $1,495, $1,197. We got a couple down there at $800, but that was a while ago. And then on eBay, we got one at $1,600, $1,450, best offer accepted. $1,600, $1,525, that one was on auction. Another one at $1,200, $1,450, $1,500. All right. Getting to some cards, we got the Mewtwo GX, also known as the Mewtwo card. The high before in a 10 got to 840, then got down to 396, and we are absolutely destroying that right now. Last sold in a 10, $2,000. And then in a 9, we got 420, 434, 440, and then raw 229, 185, 165, 225. We got a raw here at $580. That thing better have been super clean. Next, we have the Armored Mewtwo. So the high for this card was $1,700 in 2021. Got down to $340 in 2022. And now last sold in a 10 is $1,250. And then we got a 9 at $190, another 9 at $159. And then raw, it ranges $54, $27, $100, $61, $34, $40. Definitely closer to $100 if you want it really clean. Next, we have the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates. So the high for this card before was $1,661 in a 10 in 2020. Got down to $575. Coming up again right now. Last sold $900, $945, $950. We got a 9 at $405, $430, $489. We got a raw at $498. Another one at $65. I'm guessing absolutely destroyed. $325, $400, $449, $429. All right, next we have the Full Art Lily. Now, we just got the Lily's Clefairy and Journey together, so Lily's getting a nice little bump. So the high for Lily before was over $3,000 in 2023. There's a big trainer boom. Got all the way down to $631. Now last sold $1,639. And then a PSA 9 is $455, $500 in raw, $315, $440, $415, $480, $390. Next, we have the Lily's Full Force from Cosmic Eclipse. The high for this card was $625 in a 10. Got down to $133 in 2022. And coming up again right now, last sold $340, $285, and then we got a 9 at $112, $162, raw at $160, $175, and $121. Next, we have the Full Art Cynthia. Obviously, we're getting some Cynthia love right now with the Cynthia's Garchomp. This card is at its highest. It was at $520 in 2021, got all the way down to $220 in 2023. Now last sold $599. We got a 9 at $84, 9 at $307, $250, and then raw $275, $173, $161, $275, $120. And last on the list, we have the Misty's Favor. We just got the Misty's Psyduck. The high for this card before was $1,000 in 2021 in the 10. Got down to about $190 in 2023. Now last sold $830 in a 10. And we got another one at $880. We got a 9 at $336, $399, $336. 305, Rot, 220, 230, 220, 320, 400. Lots of 10 sales though for that card. But alright, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys do like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. And then too, if you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But alright, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last What If Wednesday, where I talk about if it's worth it to do a master set, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.